Okay. Here we go. All right. Font pack. Let's extract. Okay. Here we go. Here you are. Hooray. Okay. So as I was explaining here, this is like the most primitive thing that you can consider when it comes to fonts. You know, a bitmap font is just a chunk of pixels that an artist decided to draw in a graphics application with some letters that might have numbers, special characters, or maybe not. Okay. And what you really do with this is that when you write a renderer for it, to display this on the screen, it's very trivial to do so. Okay. And since we're doing this text editor from scratch, I decided to do it the simplest way possible, which is just a software rasterizer and a bitmap font renderer, and then we'll take it up a notch from there. Okay. So if you look at the text editor code, here we go. You see, this is my bitmap font renderer. I am literally just adding entries based on a hash table, and that's about it. Like I hash a character, I store it in an array, and then when I'm ready to draw text, I just say this is the character that they want, and then I make some computations, and I render that, on pixels. It even has like magic pink and stuff like that. Okay. Now what that means is that when I run my text editor, hold on, here we go. I am writing on this text editor using a bitmap font renderer, blah. Okay, and here's the problem that we want to solve. Okay, it's easy to solve it because we're only thinking in terms of pixels at the moment. Okay, we're not thinking in terms of a more difficult kind of font like vector fonts, where you actually have to consider things at a higher level than pixels, and so the calculations become a little bit more complicated. Thankfully, we're just thinking in terms of pixels, and what that means is that I can just find out whether or not these letters, these glyphs, these characters are monospaced or not. That means that the distance between one letter and the other is the same, and I know that it's the same because my bitmap font renderer only takes in, at least this version that I'm using for this program, only takes in monospaced bitmap font. So that cannot be any more simpler than that. Okay, so if I want to find out the maximum amount of glyphs or the maximum amount of characters that a single line can take, all I have to do is a very simple calculation, a very simple computation that we are going to do right now. If my program responds, you're still running. Okay, there you go. No rising slash change. I know that. Okay. So we're gonna go to the part where we're talking about the glyph, right? And the glyph height. The character color is orange. That's interesting. Right. I'm gonna make some assertions. So I'm gonna say, go ahead and assert that. What do I want to assert? Well, I need a bounding box first of all. Okay, so let's create a bounding box. All right. So here's the thing. Let me run the program again. Here, I want to make sure that I have a bounding box or a text box, okay, that right now is invisible, but just imagine that I have an invisible text box, and that when the current line goes over or starts to get over the boundary of that text box, then I want to grab the last word that I was typing, okay, the last word, and I want to move it to the next line. Okay, so for that, I need to create a rectangle, and I'm going to call it text box, and I'm going to make the text box as big as the screen. Okay, there we go. As simple as that. Okay, and then let me put this up on the top. I want to make some assertions. I'm going to say, as make sure that I can fit in whole numbers, whole amounts of glyphs. Let me see. Width is equal to 0. And there we go. Maybe as in terms of the height as well. This is just for me so I don't choose a bitmap font that can mess with my calculations right now. I'm just saying, you know, make sure that if my bitmap font is 8 by 8, let me show you the example. If my glyph is 8 by 8 pixels, I want to make sure that I can fit in a whole number, an integer number of glyphs on that line. Okay? I don't want it to be fractional because that will cause some issues in my computations. Okay? Now, what can I do with that? Well, in this part, you know, I'm updating the text buffer based on player input. And then here I'm going to say, oh, go ahead and move the word to the next line if the line is too full. Well, how can you do that? Well, first you want to calculate what the current width, okay, what the current width of your line is. And if that width, which is in pixels, as we talked about, is larger than the bounding box or the text box, then we're going to make the operations necessary to move that word to the next line. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is, you know, calculate that line width. And all we need to do is find what the latest character that we typed is, or the character index. So look at this variable right here. We talked about it last time. You have this character index, which is the position of the latest character that has been pressed. Okay, and that's perfect because, you know, it starts counting from character number 0 until character, you know, the last one. And that's good because all I have to do, since this is monospaced, okay, I am solving the problem based on my current constraints. Okay, and I think that's very important. I don't want a generic solution at the moment. I'll never get anything done in time if I think that way. You can do iterations after that. Anyhow, so I can just multiply the character index by the width of the glyph, you know, 8 pixels, 16 pixels, 32 pixels, and that's going to give me the current line width, right? Again, very simple. This is extremely simple, but I'm just explaining it for those who may be beginners when it comes to, you know, the C language or some of these problem-solving kind of things. So chart index times the glyph width, like that. I'm gonna say times chart index plus 1. I'm doing plus 1 because I'm considering the caret, okay, the orange caret as well, and we'll go from there. And now let me go ahead and print f, you know, line w is equal to this, just to do some quick check. Okay, so we have some errors. What is it saying? Line 80 text. Oh, jeez. Run. Alright, perfect. It's not saying, okay, so the line width should be 0 because there are no characters, so the line is empty. There shouldn't be, you know, any amount. But it's saying 8, and that's fine because I'm including the caret, this caret, as part of the line width. Alright? So if I type Abner 16 as expected, B, wait, I see that Casey is online, so let's do Casey. So C 16, A 24, S 32. Yep, just as we expect. Okay? Casey was riding his bike today, was he? Alright, let me drink some chocolate wine real quick, look at the chat. Yes, we have chocolate wine, Casey. Here you go. See? All right. I'm sorry, I can't be a good entertainer when I'm programming. I wish I could make more jokes or something. No pizza. The pizza will be after the stream. Okay. Oh, okay. So this is Chocovine. Chocovine is the cheapest but most popular wine that you can find. Chocolate wine that you can find. I don't know if it's the most popular because it's the cheapest, or if it's objectively a better tasting wine. Um, the $70 wine that I had one time that was chocolate was amazing. I don't know if I'm biased because of the price. You know, when you fork that money out, you might be thinking that it's tastier, even though it's not, just because you spent that much money. I don't know. This is like the only thing where I am irrational. When it comes to like wine, I am not thinking rationally about anything. I'm just enjoying it. I'll spend $100 if I have to. Anyway, um, Casey, Casey, I would tweet you the links for the wine that's $70. Because some chocolate wines, they usually, it's like, for example, this one is red wine, right? That's mixed in with chocolate. All right, it's just red wine. There are others just like white wine from a very specific famous brand with cream. You know, it's a creamier texture, or it came from Italy or whatever, and that just makes it more expensive. But yeah, I'll give you the links if you want to. What restaurant was that? Anyway, okay. Anyway, back to programming. Um, so we know now that. Hold on, am I dark right now? Can you guys see me well? All right. So Casey, if you have suggestions of what lighting equipment to buy, well, I already bought the lighting equipment. I bought a microphone and I bought lighting equipment so that it looks better. Um, I just, yeah, when it gets dark, like you can't see me. I go into incognito mode, as they say. So anyway, hopefully I'll get the equipment this week, and so next time I'll have a better lighting and a better experience for you guys. Okay. So we have this. Um, wow, the chat is exploding. Hold on, I'll get back to you guys soon. So I just want to do a quick check again. If it's bigger than the width of the text box, then we want to say, oh my god, you are going over the boundaries. Respect boundaries, brah. Okay. Make sure that works. There we go. Let's run. Abner is typing stuff on the screen. It is not. Hold on, I don't have comma. Why don't I have comma at the moment? There you go. Okay. Abner is typing stuff. I want to make sure that when I go over, it tells me so. When I'm typing stuff on the screen. And now he is about to go. All right. You can see that. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Okay. All right, I get it. So, here we go. What do I want to do? Well, what I want to do is copy the last word from the first line over to the second line, and then clear that last word from the first line. That's it. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to find what the last word is, and then the question is how do you find that last word? Okay, how are words divided usually? Okay, so if I go to paint, okay, very sophisticated stuff. I can try doing something like, here we go, and choose a color. Okay, what? I thought the color was white. What's going on? Oh, okay. Here is a line. Okay, so what you're gonna find out is that the only thing that can define or separate one word from another is the spaces in between them, right? So you have a space here, a space here, and that's just a given. Like, there's no other way to delimit one word from another. Okay, it's just spaces. Okay, spaces. Oh my god, I should not be doing this. Alright, spaces. Alright, so spaces are the only thing that define one word from another. So what I need to do, one thing that I can do is have some metadata about the text buffer that I'm using. Okay, and that metadata can actually store, like, the positions of each space that occurs, and there's some advantages to that. So let me make this larger. Okay. Advantages of storing metadata for the text buffer are you can clear the last word and move it to the next line. There's the two advantages I care of. Two advantages of storing metadata for the text buffer are and two is you can easily figure out the word count for the current text editing session. Alright, those are the two advantages that I care about right now. And again, let me stress the fact that I am solving these problems knowing that I'm using a BitmapFont renderer that I created myself quick and dirty, knowing that I'm going to probably rewrite the entire input system, that I'm probably going to rewrite the way that I'm storing this data or the way that I make the transformations happen, okay? Because this is just the first pass on it. And I have to problem solve knowing that those are my constraints, and I can't go too generic on it because I'm not going to get anything done. That's just how it goes. Even at work, that's what I do. Then when I have something that looks nice, I answer like 100 questions after making that first pass. And when I go to the second pass, it's just much easier. When I go to the third pass, I add more features. Fourth pass, okay? I don't know if there are programmers, are there, that just make the first generic solution to a problem that applies into many different contexts at once, like at the very first time. I've never seen that happen successfully. Except unless you're very, very experienced. Like if you've been programming for 30 years or something, that's a possibility. Right? I'm only 23. I don't know if that'll change the way that I do things. Anyway, moving on. So spaces. You can keep track of all current spaces, or you can store the last space position. I'll start with like storing the last space position, and after that I'll transition to keeping track of all the current spaces that the user has typed. Okay, so let's start with this one. Alright, let me close this. This is awful. Alright. Thank you, more Axes, for hanging out with us. Appreciate it very much. What time is it? Oh my god. I'm almost... Wait, I started late though. I'll probably do... 20 more minutes, maybe. I want to at least have that word wrapping thing done. All right. Ah! Okay. So let's go here. Let's go to our nice indices here. So you have line index, which is keeping track of the current line on my text buffer, or my buffer of text buffers, I might say. You have the character index, which is the current character position, or the latest character that was been typed. And now I'm gonna have the last space index, and I'm gonna set that as -1, because when you start typing there are no spaces. Okay, so that's gonna be -1 for now. K Lemonade says, I should hope your being 23 will change. So do I. Now let's see. Where do I? Okay, so again, I created this last space index, and all I want to do is store the position of the latest pressed space bar. All right, and then again, like I have this line buffer here, so I'm storing all the characters or the glyphs that the user is typing, and I'm storing it here in this character buffer or in the string. Okay, string of strings, including spaces. So all I want to do is reference the latest position of the latest space that was pressed. Okay, one way I can do that with my current implementation is to go here, get rid of this current character comparison with the space, and then add an extra else if here and say, if it's equal to space, then I want to do something. I want to say, I want to do the same thing that I'm doing here. I want to store that space on this line, with the exception that I don't want it to be like uppercase, because spaces can't be uppercase. That doesn't make any sense. And then here, I'm gonna say last space index, is that it? Is equal to the character index. Yes, I believe that makes some sense. Okay, let me make sure I'm doing things correctly. All right. Now, here in the other part of the update stage, when I want to move word to the next line if line is too full, is find out what the current word is. So I'm going to say character overlapping word is equal to, and then I'm going to say, here are my lines, line index plus last space index plus 1, and this should give me the word that is overlapping. Okay, I believe so. So let's do a test. Overlapping. I have been programming in Java for the past month, writing that book that I have forgotten how to do some things in C. It's a very sad story. I should probably do a rant on that. Overlapping word. Okay. There you go. I am typing things to figure out whether or not I will find the, let me see, imagination. Let me type imagination. So the moment I type imagination, it should show on this shell that the last overlapping word is imagination, or whatever it is that I managed to type here. Perfect. It is. It is that. Okay. So I'm saving. Hold on. Let me get rid of this. Okay. So with that, I can do some things. I can say mem copy, I suppose. I can memory copy. I always think backwards, right? So the last thing is specifying the amount of bytes that I need to copy, and for that, let me type this here. I32 word size would be last space index minus character index, I believe, and I just pass in the word size times the size of whatever type it is. You know that you can avoid this size of operation here or operator. I'll just do it just to be more clear, right? And after that, what I want to do is say what's the source. Okay, so how many bytes do you want to transfer from this thing to this thing? So the from is what I'm going to specify now, which would be the, what is from? From the overlapping word, correct? Over to line index, no, lines plus plus line index. But wait, if I do that, I should probably do this. Let me think about this. That looks good to me. And I don't want to do plus plus just yet because I want to clear. There we go. That should probably work. Wait, that's not true. That's not true at all. Hold on. Plus plus, and then minus one. I think that makes more sense. Is that it? Am I missing something? The same thing. Word size times size of character. Okay. All right. Let's see what I did because I didn't even think of this. So I'm saying, grab that overlapping word, find out the size of it, copy the entire word over to the next line of the text buffer, and then go to the previous line and erase or clear whatever it is that you moved over. Okay. Build. I have a funny feeling about this. I have a weird feeling about this. Let's see. Abner is typing stuff on the screen, and he is afraid that every... Alright, so it stopped working. There's a terrible bug going on here. Let's see. Let's think about this. Printf. Let's printf some things. What's the word size? Give me the word size. One thing. There we go. Run. Okay. Amner is typing stuff on the screen, and he is afraid that every... Okay, look at that. It's saying that it's -8. That the word size is -8. Alright? And that's because... Why is that happening? Last space index is not storing... Let me see. Debugging, people. Debugging. Popcorn says, the heck? Where did the light come from? Well, aliens. That sense of humor, yo. Okay. Let's put some music. Whoa! Okay. Now where was I? Okay, so if I say Abner space, it's saying last space index is now 5, which is true. Let me see, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, that's correct. Is, and now should be 8. Perfect. So that's okay. You see that? Alright, so I'm gonna try and type imagination again. Aha! It says, overlapping word is now imagi. Let me. Okay, I think I found something interesting here. It's saying last space index is 58, character index is 64, word size is -6. Oh, ha, ha, ha. What if I was programming this at work? What if I was testing on a spacecraft? This is why we have procedures and requirements and SRDS and SDDs and all the different types of specification sheets that you can think of. Okay. Wow. Am I too young to retire? Is that like a... I'm kidding. I have many years ahead of me. Alright. Build. Okay. Okay, so that that kind of worked. It did work actually, but I need to reset some things after going to the next line. Okay, I need to say the character index is now 0. That's one thing. I think that's about it. Let's try it again. Okay. Abner is now typing stuff on the screen to test his new imagine. Okay, so you see that that's pretty cool. It did go to the next line, but it got rid of the first line. Now we gotta ask ourselves why that happened. Alright. I actually don't know. Let me see. Line index is being incremented here. So I should have 2 line indices, right? So line index equals %d line index. And I'm also gonna print out well, actually I'm gonna reset last space index as well, and that's a bad thing. For the future, it's gonna be a bad thing. Let me say to do. We'll have trouble if we try to go back to the first line. Okay. Build. Good. More chocolate wine. Here we go. Knuckles says, I remember reading somewhere that we might be one of the very first civilized developed planets. Well, I have news for you. I have some secrets. You know what? I can't go to federal jail. I can't do that. Maybe once I'm 65 years old or something. Okay. And I have to agree with what James just said. 100% agree on that front. Okay. Abner is typing stuff on the screen to figure out how to make the... Okay. So interestingly, we do have, line index equals 1. That means we do have 2 lines going on, but I still do not understand why the first line is disappearing. Okay? And it might have to do something with the way I'm setting memory. Let me see. I'm saying go to the first, let's see, line index -1. Now it should be 0 at this point, so I set to 0. What if I don't do the mem set? What if I get rid of that and I type again? Give me a sec. Okay, run. Abner is typing stuff on the screen to figure out how to make his... Aha! So you see that it didn't... So it's the mem set, the memory set, that's causing issues. Again, it's been a while. Am I forgetting a specific thing from... Let me see. What's a good reference? There's the pointer, there's the value that I care about, and then here's a number. I don't see... Oh, wait. Hold up. I know what's going on. Could that be it? Hold on. Build. And let me make sure that I'm not clearing anything. Okay. Amner is typing stuff on the screen. To make sure that his thingy... There you go. There you go. Ha! Ha ha! Pretty cool stuff. Okay, I'm suspecting another issue though. What if I type something now? Because didn't I just set the character index to 0? So if I type ABNER, or my name, Abner, it's gonna start overriding thingy. And it did. Now I'm Abnery. Abnery. Abner is typing stuff on the screen to make sure that he's Abnery. You see, it doesn't make any sense. To make sure that his thingy works on the stream. Okay. So I swear I'm sober. There we go. So I think I can get rid of this. There we go. And now that that's working, I don't want to set the character index to 0. I actually want to set it to the word size. -1, I think. So let's build. Okay. Abner is typing stuff on the screen in order to make his wrapping thing work alright. Abner is happy because it works. Because it works. Casey is proud of. I doubt it. Matthew is proud of me. Haha! Okay, so that's simple enough. And that only took us like what, 30 minutes? It could have gone faster if I drank less wine. Okay. Testing 1, 2, 3. Ah, hopefully this works. And we will have the best text editor in town. Hey, 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 hey. Okay. Cool stuff. I already went over about 15 minutes, so let's do 10 more minutes. Let's change the font. So let's use different fonts. Okay. Let's see if we can make that happen. Because this is already starting to look kind of boring. So how about we're able to change fonts based on key presses that we do. Okay. So let's go back. I'm gonna let this be a thing. Let me see. So we have Boobla. We have the Boobla font. We have the Block Kit font. I don't like this because it doesn't have any numbers or anything. This is the one that we're using right now, Bubble Mad. It's pretty cool. Moving on, DG font. Nope, no thank you. What is this? I don't even see what's going on. Oh, nope, nope. This is this is pretty cool. It's the same thing as Bubble Mad. It's just gold. Do you guys want gold? You guys prefer this? Let's put it to vote. Do you guys want the GBA font? Alright, what's next? Nope. Nope. This is pretty cool. I like this. Nope. 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 Oh my god, that's horrible. Look at this. I'm sorry. Moving on. Nope. 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 I don't like these. This is what the. Okay, so we have a winner. We're gonna go and use hold on, this one. Okay, I like this. Now, like I said, this was a quick and dirty BitmapFont renderer, and it works pretty well. But right now, my whole thing is so retro that it's only using 3 components, right? Red, green, and blue, RGB. So I don't have, it doesn't have the understanding of what alpha, per pixel alpha processing would be. Nothing about alpha. Okay. So for that, I need a magical pink color, magical rainbow. That's gonna be on the background. And it's a color that doesn't match any of the colors of the glyphs. So for that, I am going to open, like I did last time, GIMP. And we will leave it at that. So once I change the font, just because, we will continue next stream, hopefully sometime in the week, in order to test my new equipment, the microphone and the lighting and stuff. And we'll continue from there. Wow, so slow. Okay. Let's make a new image. Okay. Let us copy this whole thing and paste. Okay. Make it into a new layer. And then we're going to make the background pink, which is this one. It's saved here. Again, magic pink is the red component is at its full capacity, 255. No green component at all. And blue, 255. At its full capacity as well. There we go. Ah, oh, so adorable. Excuse me. So export as. And then what do we call this? Gold font. Okay. And then we'll save it inside stream along with the other fonts. So gold font. Oh, I'm always doing okay. So that's a good idea. 8 by 8. And export. There we go. And then what we're gonna do now is going to NASA. Nope. Stream. And we're gonna open our font.config file. Alright. Here we go. Again, you guys know that I made that parser, that config parser, and it's really classic Windows 95 style. I'm just passing the name of whatever we have now, which is gold font 8 by 8.png, and then glyph is going to be 8, and then glyph is going to be 8. Glyph height, and that should be about it. Okay, so obviously I don't have that right now. Save. What the? Okay. Okay. Build. Pretty cool. Run. Alright, so it detected the font because otherwise, if it didn't detect the gold font, my renderer would have screened and bogged and done So that's good. Now let's go ahead and use it. I think I don't even remember. Let me open up my thingy. Okay. So it's something like this. After I initialize, I'm gonna say txt bitmap font, and I say bitmap font number 2. Okay. Build. Cool. What's the handmade hero bot doing here? Again? Oh, it's Miblo, of course. Casey, did you know that I have a pet called Miblo? Trivia. And I named it Miblo after I met Miblo. Okay, so yes, there is a correlation there. Anyway, build, run. We are testing out this amazingly beautiful Gaudi font. Woot. Alright. Casey, that's classified. I like the way that this font is looking. I wonder what the current Twitch chat people are thinking about it. Okay. Anyway, let's try it again since we're pretty much done. I should probably have some commands for like The boy who cried, garbage collector. Once upon a time, in a world full of rational people, there was a boy who would consistently scream, oh my god, I see somebody using garbage collection for their software. And every day, someone would believe him, and one day, nobody believed him anymore. And like any other classic story like this one, he actually cried for help when he needed it. A Java developer held him captive and forced him to write books on Java enterprise development until his feeble heart stopped pounding. I'm not going away. What month is it? 07 or is it day 12 in 2015? Okay, thank you very much guys for joining me in this stream. I will be here as always every Sunday, next Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That's when I continue programming this. This is going to be an open source text editor. And if you look at the frequently asked questions or in the YouTube description, if you're watching this archived version of YouTube, the source code will be available potentially on GitHub or any version control system that I may use 2 streams from now. So that will be Sunday, August the 2nd. So you guys can follow along. I just want to have something interesting before I make the source code available. And I want to encourage you to follow me on at Abner Coimbra if you're interested. I am also a moderator for Handmade Hero. I encourage people to do their own handmade projects. I think it's a very interesting initiative. Now, I don't know. Hopefully, some years from now, we will have a good pool of people that think about programming differently than the way that we're thinking about it now. Programming is, again, about problem solving. It's a challenge, but it's fun. It's straightforward and fun. So if you have any questions, please prefix the questions with my name at Abner Coimbre, and I will see you next. Why is it still okay? Casey, thank you for joining us. It's always fun when you're here. Miblo, thank you. Alan Webster, thanks. I hope we get to talk soon. I want to know how you're doing with your project. Mr. Fourth Dimension, I mean. James, thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Casey, you should probably come to NASA one day. What do you think about that? Maybe come for a tour of the firing rooms and the places where I work. That'd be an interesting thing. Maybe we can invite other handmade heroes over to the center. It's really difficult to do that, but it's possible. K Knuckles, Thanks for the stream, and God help you if you don't have it on on YouTube real soon. I will upload to YouTube, definitely. Yes, it is pizza time for sure. D7 Samurai asks, how much wine is left in that bottle? Well, it's not too bad. I mean, like halfway through, not even halfway through. Miblo, someone asked about the case where a word is longer than a line. What happens then? Ooh, okay, I should probably handle that next stream. Thank you. Mr. Fourth Dimension, yes, I will join you if you do the stream. Okay, Zafad asks, the code style underscore name typing. Do other software developers use camel case or just Objective-C and web developers use it only? That is not a question I'm interested in. Like at all. Like, I'm sorry. Okay, so I'll answer it. I've seen different naming schemes and notations from every single type of developer, regardless of the language that you're using, right? So you can obviously there are languages that encourage a specific naming scheme because of the developer or the creator encouraged it or the community encourages it. So that's true. But even so, like I've seen people in C writing in a Java style notation, and I've seen people in Java writing in a C style notation. Now, obviously, their coworkers get extremely angry at them for doing that. But you know, programming is not about the code. Just be consistent and let's move on, right? All right. Let's see. Any other questions? 5shot 95. What do you think of Java? Any other question? Fargo Fallout. This is my first time watching one of your streams, so I apologize if this has been asked, answered before. That's fine. How much experience do you have in software development? I started formally at 13, and I'm 23, so that would be 10 years. Now, when you say like how much experience do you have, like if you're asking about how many different like large projects have I published, I would say two, just two. One is one that was funded by the National Science Foundation. It was a good grant, and I was the lead developer. It was a 3D simulation used for engineering students at universities, and it's currently being used like right now in the university classrooms. I can show you. I can like in the chat later show you the website for that. And the second project, large project, was something that I did at NASA. It's actually being used by dozens of people within my office or my building. Okay. I've gotten really good feedback from it, and that was like a very large project that I did. Unfortunately, all of the software that I have published or written in NASA, I cannot discuss it. It just stays within the organization, which is one of the reasons I'm doing this as well, so I can actually have some open source projects going on, and I can actually show people what I can do. Okay. iDoms is asking, what made you want to work at NASA? I want to live a life. Okay, so I have a cosmic perspective on life, and what that basically means is I'm always seeing things at a bigger picture. Okay, sometimes I see ourselves, humans, as just random points or random nodes, in a sphere that will eventually disappear. Okay, And when you think about legacy and leaving things for the future, it's almost meaningless in that kind of sense. Um, and then, like, I don't want to live in a tiny bubble and just live my life and die. That's fine, and some people are okay with that, and it's not a bad thing. But I've always thought, like, what are the series of actions? What are the series of steps that I can take in order to cause an influence at a larger scale that will bring humanity to a step where they can branch out further than they could have ever imagined. Okay? That's like what I thought when I was like 8 years old. Okay? Um, Now I have more intricate thoughts about that, more deep thoughts that I don't want to discuss right now. But that was like what I was thinking when I was a kid. Okay? And on the venues that you have, on the career venues that you have right now, that you can take in order to cause that large scale influence, right? It's a very limited number, in my opinion. All right, at least with resources. Like I came from a very, I didn't come from an affluent family, right? It was poor family, stuff like that. So anyway, my venues are limited if I want to do something like that. Okay, one of the venues is space exploration. If I contribute at a scale that I think is relevant in space exploration, then I am sort of meeting that goal that I had when I was a child. Um, and I also like enjoy like programming for its own sake. I love knowledge. I love being able to have a clear head when I explain the things that I know about as well. Right? Like I want to show that deep mastery, that deep understanding, just for its own sake. But bigger than that is, can I use that in order to cause that large scale influence that I was talking about? So that meaninglessness kind of fades away a little bit. Okay? Sorry if that was kind of a weird thing to explain, but anyway. Um, how the hell did you obtain such a love for humanity, being 8 years old? And um, um, I come from a very conservative family, and they do not agree with some of the things that I do or think or the way that I am in some senses. Hopefully that makes some sense. And I always had a when I was a kid, I felt like I was in a movie, right, where I'm the protagonist and I am fighting against even my own family regarding my thoughts and who I am and stuff like that, right? So it was a me against them attitude, okay? And that just triggered some thoughts in my head and of how to live my life, um, and go from there. So yeah, okay. I appreciate your comments on what I just said. Thank you. Five Shot says, does NASA work with SpaceX? Yes, I mean we collaborate really well. So what happens is Kennedy Space Center, which is where I am working right now, is used to be the space shuttle complex, right? It was focused towards well, even before that it was doing other stuff, but like at one point in time it was all about a checkout facility and a launch operations research facility just for launching the space shuttle, right? And we did the very successful missions from Apollo 11 all the way up to Apollo 17. We went to the moon, stuff like that, right? Very important stuff. And we had a launch control system, and we had all these launch pads and all these facilities and all these resources just to launch the space shuttle. Now, NASA is, and I'm talking like from my own perspective as Abner Coimbre, not as a NASA employee. Okay, NASA does not endorse in any way the things that I am saying. All right, as I said in the frequently asked questions. Anyway, so that was the focus. But NASA is a government agency, a federal agency, and like its success is also contingent on the politics and on the funding that it gets from the government. Okay, so you guys know that the space shuttle program terminated, this and that. And we've gone through a very rough transition that I wasn't a part of. Okay, I'm like on the very end of that transition, where there is no space shuttle. Okay, there is no more space shuttle. So what we're doing now, and we're almost done with that transition. We're doing really well. Is going from that to a becoming a commercial spaceport. Okay. Now, what do I mean by commercial spaceport? That's really what it is, a spaceport. A port where you can launch either government-owned or commercially owned rockets and spacecraft. So we're giving facilities, we're giving our launch pads, we're providing the launch control system that I am a part of right now. I'm programming that new launch control system that will be able to not just check out the space shuttle, because the launch control system was only for the space shuttle. Now it's going to be this generic thing that works with any kind of spacecraft and rocket. Anyway, so we're doing that, and we're providing services to these private companies and even to ourselves when we want to. So it's a commercial spaceport, and we're like a business in that kind of sense. We still do research, obviously, a lot of research and stuff like that, and stuff that I can't discuss. But that's what's happening for the most part. So SpaceX is a major, SpaceX is a major contractor for us, where we gave them this contract, right, where they resupply cargo and payload, and they resupply payloads for the ISS, right? So while they do that, they get to pay their bills, and and we're letting them, resupply the things that the ISS needs. So then we can focus on our own things, which is like becoming a commercial spaceport, and we're also developing our own rocket, which is going to be the biggest rocket in history, and the Orion capsule, which because we have our own long-term plans to go to Mars, right? It's not just SpaceX, so we're also doing that on the side. So if you want to check it out, just literally type in Orion spacecraft, okay? Orion spacecraft, and this is something very, very cool that we're working on. And we're also working because we need a rocket to launch the spacecraft with, right? The spacecraft with, right? So we have what's called the Space Launch System, which is going to be the biggest rocket in history. Okay. People think that we're not doing any of this stuff. Like even if you go to YouTube and search for EFT-1 flight. This was last December. Last December, using a Delta IV Heavy, because we don't have the space launch system yet, so we use a Delta IV Heavy to launch Orion already. So it was a very successful test flight that even Obama discussed, on a conference. So very cool stuff. So even though we are becoming a commercial spaceport, we are also developing our own new rockets and spacecraft. So hopefully that answers your question. Okay, we are kind of our new rocket to go to Mars. NASA's kind of been behind the scenes. We're giving SpaceX kind of the spotlight because they're doing really innovative stuff. But it's more than anything, it's collaboration. More than anything, we're collaborating and not competing. So that's the point that I kind of want to get across. But we also have our own ideas to go to Mars. And when these launches happen, I believe that at least NASA will gain some major attention that it kind of lost after the space shuttle program closed. Okay. All right. I'm not here to discuss politics. That was just me talking, not even as a NASA guy. But that was just my comment, just commenting on what NASA is doing, at least on my center. Okay. Anyway, I think that's all the time we have for questions. I have to jet. I have to jet. Again, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Next Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, we will continue programming this. On August 2nd, I will make the project open source so you guys can follow along and make your own forks. And remember what programming is never about. It is never about the code. The programmer's job is not to write code. Code is the tool that you use to do your job. And that job is to solve problems. And that's what we're doing. Thank you. I will hang around in the chat for a while.